Is there something that you like doing just to chill out for a bit? Would you play with a bit of Lego to help you relax? Well, it turns out it might help. Well, maybe not if you step on it and you're not wearing shoes. I think that would really lose your chill. I've done that before and it was quite painful. So, how might Lego help and what could you do to practice mindfulness? Michelle Eckles is a mindfulness coach and author of How to Calm Your Mind. Good afternoon, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. So let's start at the beginning. What is mindfulness?
Hi, James. So mindfulness in its simplicity is really just paying attention to what you're doing in any given moment and just keeping all your attention focused on whatever it is you're doing. And by doing that, you are helping prevent your mind from wandering off to thoughts of the future and also thoughts of the past, both of which can cause anxiety and depression. So in its simplest form, it's just paying attention and the quality of the attention that you're applying to anything that you're doing in any given moment.
Do you think people used to practice mindfulness without knowing about it? I feel like there's been a lot of talk about mindfulness over the past, say, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we're all born with the ability to do. We're all born being mindful. And, you can look at a kid or an adult doing Lego and you can see that, all their attention is focused on what they're doing. So it is something that we were all born with the ability to do. It's just that somewhere along the way, we've all started living our lives in such, fast pace and on autopilot. And we're just forgetting to be mindful. We're just rushing from one thing to the next. We're trying to do multiple things at once. We're constantly at the whim of technology and stimulation, and also forget that it's actually good to be bored and do nothing sometimes.
Do you think it's becoming more important for us to, as you say, do nothing?
Absolutely, 100%. So studies have shown that actually sitting and doing nothing and sitting in stillness can actually increase areas of your brain like memory and learning. It can help you go back into that state of homeostasis, which your body needs for repair and to prepare you for the challenges that are going to come along in your day-to-day life, because we can't avoid them. It's just a matter of learning how to manage them so that they don't cause us such high levels of stress that we're seeing these days.
Do you have to spend much time practicing mindfulness?
No, it can be as simple as, as you're driving your car along. How many times have you driven from A to B and forgotten how you got there, or driven to the wrong place because, you were distracted? I've done that before on school holidays, driven to the school because, I've been on autopilot.
Yeah.
So it can be as simple as, and it might sound a little bit crazy, but it can be as simple as when you're in your car driving somewhere. It could be, I'm driving to the shops, I'm driving to the shops, I'm driving to the shops. So that you're just, focusing your attention on what it is you're supposed to be doing.
I'm thinking about the times now where I've driven in the wrong direction, and now I'm thinking, maybe I was just being mindful. Like maybe I was practicing mindfulness.
Probably mindlessness. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the nitty-gritty of the Lego thing. Why might practicing or using Lego help you chill out?
Yeah, so it's just, I guess, one example of a way that you can apply mindfulness to what you're doing. So, if you're building Lego, then you're just building Lego. You're not watching TV at the same time. You're not trying to have a conversation at the same time. You're just focusing on the Lego, and it probably would feel peaceful because your mind isn't wandering off again, worrying about what you need to do tomorrow. It's not going over everything that happened today and, wondering whether you could have done this or changed that. And that is going to create that level of peace. So you could do it, it's like the mindful colouring books. That's the process behind those as well, is that you're just meant to be sitting there doing the one thing. and, giving your mind something to focus on that probably isn't, or hopefully, depending on how stressful you find Lego or colouring in, whatever it is that works for you that helps you just pay attention and focus on what you're doing. And it's, great to have these hobbies and these activities, but it's also good to, realize that, okay, if I wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning, it's probably not the time to go and do Lego to relax me. So it's good to learn mindfulness techniques like mindful breathing as well that, you've got with you that you can do anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
But you can apply mindfulness to everything that you're doing.
Oh, okay. Let's get to that now. I did have another question, but let's get to how you can apply mindfulness to anything you're doing.
Yep. Okay. So let's say, I've given you the example of driving. Also, things like eating. How often do you sit and eat at your desk? Or, you all sit down at the same spot at the dinner table every night. A great way to shake that up is to move around, sit somewhere else.
Really? No, everyone's got their spot.
It's the weirdest sensation.
Michelle, what are you doing?
The weirdest. It's the weirdest sensation, but I tell you what, it works because you've got a different perspective.
Okay.
All of a sudden you go, I've got a different view.
Literally. So could a physical different view change your point of view mentally?
So what was that? Could your physical point of view change your mental point of view?
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what you're suggesting there, right? Because if you're seeing things differently, then maybe you'll think about things differently.
Yeah, exactly. You do. You all of a sudden you're a lot more alert. You're alert, and you probably aren't mind wandering because you're all of a sudden you're focusing on something else.
Yeah. Wow.
And eating. When you're eating, you're just eating. So not eating in front of the TV, not eating at your desk, things like that. Going and having a break. And actually focusing on things like the colours of the food, the textures, the flavours, all that sort of thing. Because, again, sometimes we just eat on autopilot or eat so fast that, we don't pay any attention to, what we've just eaten. Yeah.
Gosh, what do you do to practice mindfulness? I'm sure there's something you do. Get in touch, 1300 057 222, or send me a message, 0487 991057. Have you been brave enough to change where you sit at dinner? Maybe around the family dinner table? Gosh, that's a wild concept. You're at ABC Radio Darwin and the Northern Territory. I'm James Findlay, and you're hearing from Michelle Eckles. She's a mindfulness coach and has also authored the book, How to Calm Your Mind. We're talking about mindfulness because this little study has come out showing that Lego might help you practice mindfulness. And as you were saying, Michelle, it's got something to do with taking your mind away from doing something else. Colouring in is a very good option as well, as you said. Earlier, you did say that it can be hard for people to take up practicing mindfulness or, as you said, doing nothing. Because you are doing something, but you're not doing anything. You're not doing something. If you know what I'm saying. Why might people find it hard to get into practicing mindfulness?
Yeah, I think, people feel like they should be doing something at all times. I think we've become this productive culture where we sort of feel like if we're not doing something constantly, then we're being a little bit lazy or a little bit selfish, whereas it actually should be the other way around. Actually practicing mindfulness and things like meditation as well will actually make you more productive and, more engaged in conversations and things like that, because you are a little bit more relaxed. You are a lot more aware of your own thoughts and emotions as well. So if we just keep staying busy and don't pay any attention to those thoughts and emotions, then they're eventually going to come up somehow. And that's usually when we do start to sit still and do nothing. So then people can sort of have this little bit of a fear of, I don't want to be alone with my thoughts or emotions. Whereas if we just start to pay attention to them a little bit more, we kind of then go, they're not so bad after all. But also, yes, again, just by focusing on something like the Lego, like the things like knitting, all those sorts of things, you're just stopping that mind wandering, because we lose we lose up to half our day lost in thought. And most of those thoughts are the same ones, and most of those thoughts are the same ones we had yesterday. That's probably the more frustrating bit. So it's breaking that loop.
Wow. So if you're practicing mindfulness, taking yourself maybe out of your head for a bit, then you'll be able to concentrate a bit better.
Yes, definitely. So the more we practice just focusing on one thing at a time and not trying to do multiple things, we're actually a lot more productive and we're a lot more calmer because, again, we're just giving the mind one thing to focus on. We're not trying to get it to solve the world's problems while you're, brushing your teeth or,
yeah.
You're not, again, always projecting what you have to do tomorrow or, going over everything that happened today. So again, just by focusing on what you're doing here and now in this moment, just creates that little bit of peace because you're not, again, worrying.
So how often and how long should we practice being mindful or practice mindfulness?
Okay. So again, mindfulness can be as simple as my favorite activity is probably focusing on your breathing because, again, that's something that you've got with you anywhere, anytime. And it's as simple as just you can place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and breathe in and out through your nostrils. And then as you're breathing in, you just focus on that chest and belly just gently expanding. And as you breathe out, you focus on them relaxing and just that movement. So that exercise you could do for a minute and notice a difference. You could do it while you're sitting at the traffic lights. You could do it while you're laying in bed at night trying to go to sleep. You can do it as a transition exercise between, say, going from work to home or, before you go into a meeting, things like that as well. So that's just a really simple exercise that you can do anywhere, anytime. Obviously, I'm a meditation advocate, so a bit of a difference too. So mindfulness, I guess, it's the informal practice of just going about your day being a lot more focused and noticing the quality of your attention on what you're doing. Whereas meditation it's just one way you can practice being mindful. And if you were going to meditate, then 20 minutes a day is the ideal time.
Okay, that's quite a big chunk out of someone's busy day.
It is, and that's why I say you don't necessarily have to meditate to be mindful.
Okay.
You can just practice little mindfulness exercises, again, like just focusing on your breathing for a minute.
Someone's
a lot more easier for people to fit into their everyday lives.
Yeah, totally. Someone's texted in on 0487 991057 saying that's what fishing is for. Fishing must be a really good activity for this.
Yes. If you're just fishing, so if you're just fishing and you're focusing on that fishing line and you're not talking to somebody or, trying to do something else at the same time. But yes, I have a lot of men say that fishing is their meditation.
Oh, good one. Well, Michelle, it's been so great to learn all about mindfulness and how we might be able to practice it. Not necessarily going to rush out and get myself a Lego kit, but... Maybe I will take some time to just sit there and do nothing for a bit, maybe with a cup of tea, I think is a pretty good idea.
Yes, focus on that cup of tea and the temperature and the smell.